Okay, so here are here is my Visual Studio. The first task I completed, of course, was downloading Python. As you can see, I have Python here. And the next task I completed was your basic print hello world. And you can see down here in the terminal, it says hello world. Multiplying two numbers together. Number one was 5 and number two was 3. And the result, of course, was 15. The third task I completed was pretty much just creating a basic calculator. Um, and the result of that is down here. I multiplied 5 and 3 and got 15. Wait, excuse me. Yeah, okay. I divided 6 and 5 and got 1.2. Then from there, the fourth task I was create kind of a random number game where Python picks a random number between 1 and 100, and you guess the number, and it'll tell you too low or too high. And so I did that, and my first guess was 40, and it told me it was too low, and then 50 too low, on and so forth until I got to the 90s, and I got correct answer 98 in 7 attempts. My fifth task was creating a shopping list. And the results of that is that when you run the code, as you can see, I had some errors here. And if you look in the chat GPT history, you can see how I worked out those errors. The results of the shopping list is it gives you 3 options when you run the code. It's add an item, view list, or quit. I finally got a hang of it and entered view list, and it returned that my shopping list was empty. And so then I decided to add an item, and I added cheese, and then I viewed the list and cheese. Then next was task 6, which was create a rock paper scissors game using Python. And I created the code in task 6 here with the help of ChatGPT Plus. And as you can see, it took me a second. I felt kind of dumb doing this, but I was running the code and I was getting a syntax error, and I did it a couple times, and I finally realized I had not quit my previous uh, output. Pretty much, I guess is what you would say. I still had the shopping list up and hadn't selected option number 3, which is so finally I selected option number 3, which is quit, and ran the code for my rock paper scissors game again, and it finally worked. And that was a pretty cool game. Just, I mean, obviously pretty simple. Just uh, type in rock, paper, scissors, show you what Python randomly chose, and also the score. So at the end of that game, I had won 2, Python had won 3, and we had tied 1. The 7th task I completed was creating a random password generator using Python. This one was a little bit confusing to me. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what all this meant from ChatGPT Plus, but I ran this code and it gave me the prompt the message, welcome to password generator, where you first enter the desired length of your password. I did 10 at first, and then I tried 15 the next time, and then ask you if you want to include uppercase letters, yes or no, include lowercase letters, yes or no, include special characters, yes or no, and then after you click enter on that last question, it'll generate a password for you, given the basic parameters that you gave it. Then from there, I went to task 8, which was create a contact list. This one was also kind of confusing for me. If you can't tell, I have a very basic knowledge, pretty much zero knowledge of Python to begin with. But so creating this contact list, you had to pull from JSON or utilize JSON, I guess, which is a file saving service, I guess would be a term for it. And anyway, I'm not exactly sure what went wrong with this one. I mean, it worked out. I ran the code. I typed it all up like ChatGPT helped me, and I ran it, and I did it. I played around with it for a little bit and clicked quit, and it seems like it wouldn't shut down, I guess, which I didn't know that at the time. But I moved on to task 9, which was just creating a basic quiz. And I started out with 2 questions about Arkansas, and the code was showed the code to ChatGPT, and it said, it said it was a good code and it worked. So I decided to run it here on Visual Studio, and I kept getting, as you can see down here in the terminal, invalid syntax error over and over and over again. And I thought maybe I didn't close out the previous task, which was the contact list. So I went back and tried to run the contact list again and close it out, and I kept getting the syntax error. And I asked ChatGPT what the problem was, and it tried to get me to strip out some of the parts of the quiz coding, and I did that and ran it again, and it still didn't work. So that was task number 9, or I guess it'd technically be 10 after downloading Python and installing Python and then installing Visual Studio. But nonetheless, I was planning on doing more exercises, but I've run into a wall here that I can't quite figure out. ChatGPT about that, but so yeah, this is my kind of first intro, even looking at the world of Python. So I have a ton to learn, and I know I can do a lot better, or hopefully I can do a lot better than this in the future and get a better understanding of it. But this is as far as I have gotten for week 1, and then here's a look at my ChatGPT history. It's a long selection or chat history with ChatGPT of all the tasks that it had me do this week. Here is the conversation I had with it about downloading Python, installing Python, and all of that good stuff. And then also, I forgot installing GitHub, which I installed, and kind of getting an understanding of that. So, yeah, that was kind of a rundown of all the tasks for week 1 that I completed. And yeah, thank you.